Hello friends, welcome back to Fenny for the Soul. Today's video story is going to focus on Katharina Kakar, the Goa-based artist, anthropologist and author, and her lovely book, Moving to Goa. This non-fiction book was written in 2013, and the good news is that a second edition has just come out about maybe 2 months back or 45 days ago. So in this book, Katharina or Katha as we call her, has written about the people, places, customs, festivals, and problems and challenges of Goa in a very stylized and nuanced manner. So you must pick up and read this book. But before that, quickly take a look at this short interview that I was able to do with Katha at her home one rainy evening just a few days ago. So we are at Katharina Kakar's home in Benolim, very pretty home. She's a noted anthropologist and author, and we are meeting her now because a reprint of a lovely book, Moving to Goa, has just come out. I'm going to ask her to show it. Yeah, it's from Penguin, and the first edition was 2013, and now 10 years later, the second edition. So we're going to chat about precisely this. So, Katharina, tell us first and foremost why a second edition after 10 years? I mean, what was the inspiration or reason?
The reason was, I get a lot of emails of people who have heard about the book, who have read the book, who have moved here because of the book, and other people who had heard about it and wanted to read it. It was out of print. So Penguin felt it still has validity today, and they were eager to reprint. I was interested in reprinting so that it has, another chance to be, to contribute to some information and knowledge about Goa. That is a little bit more uncommon than the normal stuff you find on the internet or in other Goan books.
Wow. Katharina, or Katha as we call her here in Goa, all of us. So Katha, tell me what made Sudhir and you move to Goa in 2003, in the first place?
We wanted to get out of the big cities. We wanted a life more concentrated and more rooted to nature. So we were very lucky that we found a place with a big garden which really suited our interests. So to write, I later started with my art, to be in a space where nature and also intellectual interests could kind of merge. And Goa was the perfect place for us.
Wonderful. In your 20 years now, 2 decades precisely in Benolim village in South Goa, which facet or feature of Goan life is closest to your heart,
There are many things that I really love about Goa, but as mentioned just now, the nature is the most important part for me because I connect in such a different way to nature. If I'm looking back these 20 years and what nature meant for me earlier. So the ocean, the water, the atmosphere, the wildlife, the animals, the interactions, just in my garden, means a lot. But also the way of life here. So you have a lot of different people from different walks of life who come here to just, put their dreams into reality. With small shops, entrepreneurs, ideas, with environmental issues, with artistic issues, people who write, you name it. And it is beautiful to be around such people with such a variety of interests and the way they translate that into action. So I enjoy that about Goa a lot. It's a very individualistic place. There are a lot of people with integrity and special interests.
Thank you. Katha, tell us which part of the book. I will reiterate that it's one very fascinating book. I've read it once in so many years back, and I've just done a little rereading just now. So which part of the book did you enjoy writing the most?
I can't say that. I really enjoyed every single chapter. My interest was to show a lot of the Goan culture and history in snippets and, to make people interested. So I read a lot about history. I read about so many different parts. I really enjoyed each chapter in itself. I enjoyed very much going out, talking to people, interviewing people, doing my tours around Goa, which I wouldn't have done otherwise if I had not that kind of aim of researching a certain topic. But it's not that I had one preferable subject or so. I got very interested in the history of Goa because of the research I did. I wasn't aware how rich it is. And so it was a great joy and pleasure to dive into it. And I might come up with a new idea of writing a second book about Goa at some point.
Katha, tell us, I know when I read your book, even now the second time, what fascinated me is that you have stressed on the Konkani, local Konkani customs, even the vocabulary and the words, and you brought out these Konkani words in italics. Now that needed, of course, a lot of research, but how was that learning process?
I wouldn't know how to answer that. It was, I researched a lot in the library. I talked to people. I got kind of inspired by their ideas and, their perception on certain subjects. So it was just an organic way how the book grew. I had certain ideas that I wanted to present. My wish was to show people, whether it is Goans themselves or tourists or just people culturally interested, that there's so much more to this beautiful state than what we perceive as tourists. It is a very limited perception we have when we come here as a tourist. It's not a wrong perception, it's just very limited. So my interest was to dig a little bit deeper and show the diversity of culture also in the state. And as an anthropologist, I'm naturally curious about people, about rituals. So I just got drawn into it.
Yeah, wonderful. A little unfair, but I want you to pick, say, 3 or 4 anecdotes in the course of your research or writing of the book that you want to highlight now, because there is stuff on the hippies, there's about sex on the beach, then there is about ecological conservation, and you met a whole lot of important people in Goa.
Given today's time and the ecological threat that Goa is facing through construction, through certain political decisions, I think I would highlight, the importance to know about the secret and sacred forests, about the hinterlands. I would like to make people aware or more aware of the wildlife that is here and that needs desperately, more attention. I also think I was asked recently, what would you do differently if you'd written the book today? And I think I would give more voice to the hinterland, because that is really unknown to people and to the people of the hinterland also, to express themselves, to express their ideas, their concerns. So I would highlight the ecological part most now, because I think Goa is better that way.
I would ask you, you have interviewed people like Rajendra Kerkar, the environmentalist, then the activist, ecological activist like Claude Alvarez. So can you tell us a little about, how it was to talk to Kerkar or Claude for that matter?
Yeah, so it was very inspiring for me to see people like Rajendra Kerkar and also Claude and his wife, how they give their life for the beauty of the state, to save the environment, to protect the environment, to make people aware, like Rajendra Kerkar is writing in newspapers about the sacred forest. I know a lot about the sacred forest because of him, and he took me to areas that I couldn't find. And so it was inspiring to see how people who have a normal job, like for example he is a teacher, give the best of their life and time for something that matters to them and that matters to all of us. The same about Claude. The way he has fought for Goa, I don't think people realize how much he has done for the state through his work and his foundation.
Wonderful.
Monsoon at a
The monsoon at its best.
Yes.
You know, Katha, just speaking of the monsoon, and you know, it's raining hard now, as I've tried to capture on my video. What is it about the Goan monsoon that you like?
I love the atmosphere there. It's a time where you're inside, where things kind of quieten down. So there's a tremendous spirit to the monsoon. Not only that, the air is so clean, it cools down, the greenery just shoots up, you know, the power of nature becomes so visible in just a few weeks. So I really love the atmosphere of the monsoon, of the rain, of being housebound, and it's one of my favorite seasons.
Yeah, I think it's favorite season for so many of us in Goa.
Yeah.
Katha, I want to ask you, how has Goa changed you?
I think I became a little bit un-German in a sense that, you know, you go with the flow. You don't expect that everything is just orderly and done and everyone plays by the rule. You just, you know, things will happen in their own time. So I think I became more relaxed internally about things and just trust that, you know, if you want to get something done, that it will get done, but in its own way. So, and it's a good thing to, you know, have that internal relaxation. So I think Goa taught me a lot in that direction. And how have I changed otherwise? I think my connection to nature is deeper because I live with little and larger animals in my garden, and I love it to, you know, see the plants grow, and there's a deeper connection. I understand that we, you know, that we are just part of this nature, not separate from it, as one so easily forgets in big cities when I was living in a big city. So that has deeply imprinted and impacted me. That's I guess, the greatest change.
Thank you.